That's a new one.
Is it
a new one?
I think I heard it once.
I don't know. Anyway, this is Adam Carolla. That is Dr. Drew. He's a board-certified physician and an addiction medicine specialist. The phone number is 1-800-LOVE-191. 1-800-568-3191. Faxes. Hey, Mike, knock the crap off. It's giving me a headache.
Thank you.
I can't hear myself think.
It's all right.
I have enough difficulty focusing. Wouldn't you say, Doc?
Yeah, you would, and it's hard enough for us to hear you think, so go ahead.
Thank you. I don't know what that means. 310. This is the fax number. 310-854-44.
Thank you.
55.
Thank you.
Much better. You know, they say people do better for tests when they listen to classical music and all that stuff beforehand. All right, so I think we're going to have a good show now. You ready to go to the phones?
Ready, let's go.
All right. We're raring to go. Oh, let me just say this: that Cameron Bancroft is going to be on here. He killed Jamie Walters in a knife fight on 90210.
Knife fights down.
So he's Tori's new beau, so he's going to be in here in a few minutes. A nice guy. And John.
Hi, Dr. Drew.
Hey, John.
Hi, I was having sex with my girlfriend, but I was just in her for maybe a minute.
Uh-huh.
I was wondering what the chances of her being pregnant are.
It kind of depends what you did in that minute, doesn't it?
I was just in her, and then I pulled out because we didn't have any protection or anything.
Yeah, it's unlikely, but it certainly is not advisable, right?
Yeah.
And let me just commend you on something, John. You have the focus and concentration of a ninja. Because I can understand arguing in the car on the way home from the restaurant about sex and relinquishing at that point. But once you get to the point where you're actually having sex, to stop, I mean, that's pretty good.
Well, how long does it usually take for the pregnancy test to
2
be
weeks.
accurate?
2 weeks.
Okay.
But don't stress.
You didn't have an orgasm.
No.
Sound like a responsible guy. You know, you're being careful. You made a little mistake here. Yes, indeed, there are secretions that may have sperm in it, but the chances are really quite limited at that low degree of exposure. So just get the over-the-counter pregnancy test done in about a week, and I'm sure it'll be fine, okay?
Okay.
John, wait a minute. Yeah. Let me ask you a quick, honest question now, because I may have spoke too soon. Did you decide after a minute that this was dangerous behavior and stop on your own accord, or did she grab for the alarm clock radio and whack you over the head with it?
I asked her opinion on if I should continue.
Asked her opinion?
I asked if whether or not she wanted to continue, and she said that maybe we shouldn't. And then
maybe not.
Yeah.
It's like that stupid lotto thing where they spin the thing and they ask you if you want to roll again or something. All right.
Out of
Drew's
order.
pointing like a chimpanzee at the screen. Lauren.
Yeah, hello, Drew and Adam.
Hello.
Yes.
Nice to be on here. I'd like to say a comment to Drew first.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you ought to move on to bigger and better things like Ricky Rackman. You have a nice job and you're steady. I think you ought to move on.
Out of radio?
Yeah, you sound like you're disgusted with all these callers. I think you ought to go on. You make a lot of money, don't you?
No, well, go ahead. What should I do?
Oh, okay. And Adam.
Yeah.
I think your gay list is crappy.
Okay, then. Now we know why Drew was pointing at the screen so feverishly, because I'm getting a bashing here like some sort of snow seal, and Drew's smelling like a rose.
No, I just got bashed, too. He told me to leave the show.
Well, he said you're too good for the show.
Yeah, he is.
Right.
He's too smart to be hanging around you.
And I'm too dumb for the show.
Yeah, you masturbate too much.
Well, that's true.
Well, you know what?
What?
You don't attack a man's hobbies that way. You just don't. That's below the belt, Drew. All right, Drew, I'm going to pick the next call if you don't mind. Joe.
Hello?
Yes, you're on LoveLine.
Cool. That last caller, she don't know what the hell she was talking about.
Damn straight, Joey.
Damn, what's she talking about masturbation? What the hell she get off talking about that? You know, look at her. Listen.
Yeah, listen to her.
And Dr. Drew.
Hey, Joe.
So, what's up?
What's up, my friend?
You should stay on LoveLine.
I will, don't worry. Joe, what's the problem?
Oh, yeah. Okay, I have a problem with my girlfriend. Me and her, last night, had sex, and she might be pregnant. And it was, for a question, it was unprotected sex, and she said she could be pregnant, and I had so many problems, I can't handle it.
All right, wait a minute. You had sex with her, was this last night?
Huh?
How long ago did you have sex with her?
Sunday night.
Sunday night?
Yeah.
And she thinks she may be pregnant?
Yeah.
And you didn't pull out or anything?
No.
Joe, what are you thinking?
I don't know, man.
See, Joe was overtaken, not like the first caller.
I was.
Joe, you have to understand the repercussions of these types of actions.
She just looks. She looked good. You would have to, Adam. Come on, back me up on this one. She looked good. She was wearing a short skirt.
Joe,
just because something smells pretty doesn't mean you can just go hump away on it. Just because something is in a short skirt doesn't mean you can have unprotected sex.
I see.
I mean, I'm experiencing somewhat of a Rorschach experience with Joe here. Joe, you're having all kinds of feelings. You have all kinds of problems here. Focus on one thing at a time. You had unprotected sex. It was a mistake. She may be pregnant. You sure as heck don't know at this point if she is or she isn't. Wait the 2 weeks, get the pregnancy test done, and then deal with the consequences of what you have.
I talked to my mom about this. I mean, earlier, man. I like past year, I asked her what would happen if I got a girl pregnant. Mm-hmm. She over-exaggerated and said she would kick my ass out of the house. I'm sorry, my cousin.
Well, I think most parents would not do that and would, in fact, be there for you if that's indeed what you had to deal with.
But this is a fine plan, Joe.
You're way ahead of it.
Set for his life.
The only message in all this is wear a condom, use birth control, okay?
Yeah, and stop calling Mom's bluff. I believe her. Erica.
Hi.
Hey, you're on LoveLine.
Drew. I've got a question about ovarian cysts. I found out today that I had one, and I'm wondering about treatment and the cause.
Well, there's actually debate about the treatment. I'm pretty conservative about ovarian cysts. Simple cysts. When you ovulate, okay, there's sort of a cyst left behind, okay, and sometimes those cysts grow or they sometimes don't ovulate. They said the egg never comes out of these luteal cysts. And they form, and they get bigger, and then they sometimes pop, or they just recede on their own. There's different kinds of cysts. That's a simple cyst. You can have multiple cysts. There's something called polycystic ovarian disease. There's many different reasons that you can get cysts. There are many different kinds of cysts. The most common thing would be the thing I first described, that sort of simple luteal cyst.
Okay, she said mine was about the size of a walnut, and
it'll probably go away by itself.
I haven't gone to a regular gynecologist.
Probably will go by itself. Even some of them will go away with the birth control pill.
Yeah, that's what she said something about. Okay, well, thank you very much.
No big deal. Right.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Some of them, however, can be more serious. They need to be checked out with ultrasound.
What do you mean they go away by themselves?
They just get resorbed.
Resorbed?
They just like...
They pop and then you suck.
Sometimes they pop, sometimes they just go back down, the involute. They just go away. And sometimes, the thing, gynecologists get kind of carried away with the cysts, and they get worried that they're cancers and whatnot, and they always have to go in and look at them and biopsy them and whatnot. And of the many, many times I've sent women for those procedures, I've yet to come up with one that was anything serious.
Well, let me tell you something about the medical establishment, Drew.
All right. Tell me.
They don't get those,
I don't know anything about it, so you better tell me about it.
They don't get those expensive golf bags for free. Do you know what I'm saying? They don't get the membership to the country club for free.
Adam.
They don't get the big Mercedes for free. They do get the vacation for free because Upjohn sends them all to Hawaii.
Now, hang on.
And then they pay for everything, and they go, take a couple of samples of our new drug and go ahead and pass it around to the kids. That's free. But the rest of the stuff takes money.
Are you done?
Yeah.
Okay. You know how it works now?
How?
You don't get paid for procedures. You get paid for not doing the procedures, right? If you're in a managed care system, you take a group of patients, you get paid for per head for supervising them per month. Mm-hmm. And the less service you get, the more you're rewarded.
So you're saying let the patient die because I'm too cheap to work on him.
I'm just saying that the system is kind of screwed up right now, and it's not the way you think it is.
Okay. I don't really know. Bryce.
Yeah, how you guys doing?
Good.
I had a question. I've been going out with my girlfriend for like 5 months, and we hadn't had sex till like 2 weeks ago. And the night we went out, I figured I had a six-pack before we left because I just figured, we're not going to do anything, whatever. We ended up going back to my place, and about 15 to 20 minutes into it, she had this, she just started, flipping out.
What do you mean?
She was, just getting into it because from what she told me, she's only done it with one other guy. And you could just tell, she just started, really, just, grabbing on, just, gyrating around real bad. Anyway, she had this really bad discharge. It was just like this puddle on my sheets. It's like she soaked my sheets. It just I never had that happen before. I didn't know if it was just a normal orgasm or what. Because most girls, I've only been with 4 other girls, had sexually, and I've only brought 2 of them to orgasm that I've known, that they've told me. I've never had it, happen like this.
All right, so Bryce, this happened during the sexual act.
Right. It was like 15 to 20 minutes.
Bryce, you have an interesting policy for date preparation, by the way, which is if I'm not going to get laid, I'm going to get loaded before I go out.
Well, I mean, I really liked her. I mean, I didn't, I'm not going to dump her because, we've been going out for 5 months. I was, it's more than just that. I mean, we get along good, but it's just, I figured,
All right. So she goes, you polish off the six-pack, you end up in your bed, she goes ape crap on you.
Right. Well, like I said, it was because, and, even before that, I go to college out here, at the UMBC, and we were at a party before all this happened. I got, we were drinking like torpedo juice, or she was.
What the hell is what's torpedo
I don't know.
juice?
What is that?
It's kind of like a homemade type of alcohol. It's like a White Lightning and
Where are you?
This is a UMBC.
Where's
Baltimore.
that? Baltimore.
Yeah.
Baltimore.
And I think that's she got really loaded. I think that's the reason we ended up back there. I feel I'm almost feeling kind of guilty, like I got her drunk to do it.
All right, so what do you want from us? And
I'm just
Cameron, hold on. Cameron Bancroft is here, and he's going to help out because I think he's had sex more recently than any of us.
All right.
Hey, everyone.
Bryce?
He just wants to know if the large amount of fluid is normal, and the answer is yes, it's normal.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Wait. Do you want to know why or what it is?
Yeah, what is it? I want to know.
There's two possibilities. I mean, some women just produce a great deal of secretion from the region, and some women have what's called female orgasmic incontinence, and they urinate.
Right.
And I doubt that's what it is. He didn't sound like he was describing that, but it's normal either way.
But could it
basically
be that she hasn't had sex in so long that she built up this reservoir?
You know what? That is a male thing. That men believe that's some kind of that's what happens to men. In fact, I mean, men get that kind of that way. Women don't tend to do that.
All right, but I'm thinking a woman is a lot like a man-made lake, and there's a dam at the end. And if it just rains and rains and rains, and the snow melts and the snow melts and the snow melts, and the farmers never use any of that water for irrigation, eventually it'll start coming over the top.
No. It happens with men, but it doesn't happen with women.
Oh, really? I thought we absorbed our own.
Well, but we produce stuff to the point that it becomes
okay. All right.
Backed up.
I'm bored with my own analogies. Cameron?
How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks.
All right, let's remind everyone where you're from. You're from 90210.
That's right. Play Joe Bradley.
You're the new kid on the block.
That's right.
You're Tori's beau.
Tori's boyfriend, Donna Martin's boyfriend, that's right.
And you're both virgins.
That's right.
And you go to some god-awful fictitious college.
California University.
I don't even think I could have gotten to that one.
Well, I mean, it's pretty tough. There's a lot of universities in California, and to find one that you can actually use the name for took some creativity.
Yeah, I'll bet. Yeah, so
California University was the creative measure that they found.
Right, and they sort of tipped their hat to the whole Cal system that way.
There you go.
UCLA.
Well, it does take place in California.
Berkeley.
I mean, there aren't too many places named Beverly Hills that you could sort of get away with just coming up with a different name for university.
And they filmed it all at Oxy.
That's right.
Occidental?
Occidental. Yeah.
I'm not a big college guy. and you play the star quarterback on the team.
Right.
The big Cal. What's the name of the team?
California University Condors.
Oh, that is an ugly bird. Great wings, ugly face. You know what a condor? A condor is like a beautiful woman with just a god-awful face. Just an incredible body, just all legs and boobs, and then just a huge nose and a big wart on their chin.
Yeah, but it works for me.
All right.
It works for me.
And they're endangered, I guess, so that may add to the drama somehow on the show.
That's right.
Now, how many episodes have you done?
I've done over 15, I guess. The first one aired November 1st, so we're a few episodes ahead in filming, so I've probably done around the 15 mark.
That have you're a few episodes ahead, so like 13 have aired, or 15 have aired,
right,
and you've done
right.
like 17.
It's been about 3 months since the first episode aired.
And you got a good long contract?
Yeah.
Couple of years, I hear.
Well, I mean, they've always got control of that, but I'm going to be on for a while.
So you're not going to take like a cleat in the kidneys and be swept away?
Oh, you never know. I guess that's up to the audience, if they're hating seeing what I'm doing, then I'm off.
Now, you've done a lot of other things we were talking about before this. You're from Canada.
Right.
Everyone from Canada seems nice, by the way.
Is that right? Well, thank you for that.
Well, on
behalf of Canadians.
Except for this Alan Thicke.
Who's a friend of mine, easy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've never met the man, I'm sure.
A good guy.
I'm sure he's good. And the other guy was okay. What was his name? What was Suzanne Summers' husband's name?
Alan.
Oh, boy.
Everyone named
Alan
Alan.
Hamill. Alan Hamill.
Is everyone named Alan over there?
No, not too many.
Cameron and Alan.
That's right.
All right, you going to help us out on the phones?
I would love to.
All right, Drew. Drew's pointing like a chimp again. Sean.
Yeah, how you doing?
You're on LoveLine.
How you doing?
Say hi to Cameron.
Hey, Cameron.
Hey, Sean, how you doing?
Okay, yeah, I was going out with this girl this summer, and then we broke up, and then, like, a couple weeks later, her mom calls and, like, yells at me, "Don't you ever screw my daughter again." You know, I don't know what that was all about. But anyway,
she could have just been doing a random blanketing
yeah.
through the phone book. When I have kids, I'm going to do it. As soon as my daughter turns 16, I'm just going to open the phone book and just go, "Don't you ever screw my daughter again," and hang up and just go right to the next one.
Okay, but the reason I'm calling is she was reported missing, and the description was like, guy looked like me, but I hadn't talked to her for like a month. But when I heard this, me and her were pretty intimate and stuff, you know, and I didn't feel any bad when she was reported missing. I was wondering why. What?
Did you still have a relationship with her?
No, but it was like, it wasn't like when the relationship broke up, it wasn't like, you know.
So you didn't feel any remorse that she'd been kidnapped?
Yeah, I know.
Did you really believe that she was missing? I mean, that something bad had happened to her?
There's posters. Yeah, I was thinking something bad happened to her, but...
Has she been found since?
Yeah, I think so, but just when I heard about it, I didn't...
You sure it's not the fact that you sort of knew her and sort of... It sounds like she's a pretty chaotic person.
Yeah, she's...
And when she turns up missing, and think, oh, there she goes again, you know, she's pulling something. And I would imagine you might even experience some relief.
Yeah.
Wait a minute,
no,
Drew.
Listen.
Don't coddle Sean.
I know, because I got the picture here.
Okay.
And it's not your ex-girlfriend's fault that she is this way. Something bad was happening to her in the home. It takes a lot for people to have to run away to the point that this kind of thing is happening. Some kind of serious abuse was going on. Is that right?
Yeah. It wasn't too.
That's right. And that creates a lot of chaos emotionally, and they conduct themselves in relationships with incredible amounts of intensity and chaos. And he probably thought, she's acting out again, and thank God I'm not a part of all that.
Well, I thought she was abducted or something.
That's what they led to believe, but he probably had a sense that it wasn't.
Well, it was like they said the last person she was seen with. Was
you?
Well, it was a guy, you know, kind of
described as him.
Yeah.
Oh, I got you.
Wow. And on a serious topic here, if I may, Polly Klaus.
Yes.
That guy who killed her in the woods, I can't recall the guy's name. I'm sure it might come into my headphones at some point, probably about an hour and a half or so, knowing our crack team. Just going to trial. I think it was like yesterday.
But even still, maybe not, because they don't feel they can get a fair trial there and all this kind of stuff. Terrible.
Fair freaking trial. This guy...
Terrible.
This guy, what? Say it again, Mike. Richard Allen. No. I don't think it was Richard Allen, although we will be sued from a guy named Richard Allen.
But we broadcast up there. I mean, I am really disturbed. We're getting to the point now with our listeners, as the show has kind of moved across the country, that we're getting to hear more about abuse, and that's always been an important topic we talk about in this show. It's been in Los Angeles for many years, and we've talked about that particular topic over and over again. And I'm really affected by it. I mean, it affects me emotionally.
I think we should just have a public draw and quartering of this guy. I mean, it's been a year and a half. He admitted to it. He led the police to the body. Yeah. And here's my take on leading to the body, by the way. Anyone who leads anyone to the body, guilty. I don't care if you just stumbled... Richard Allen Davis, I don't care if you just stumbled across the body. If you're camping, collecting butterfly specimens, you're guilty. You lead anyone to a body, guilt, we kill you there. Am I right, Cameron?
I agree with that 100%, Adam.
We're going to start a militia.
LoveLine. 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 We'll be right back.
I'm thrown way off my game now. Let me give the numbers out. 1-800-LOVE-191, 1-800-568-3191. Faxes, 310-854-4455. We're here with Cameron Bancroft. You know him as Joe from 90210.
Hey.
The virgin quarterback.
The virgin quarterback, yeah.
Is that a religious thing?
We haven't really talked about it so much as being religious because I think there's a certain fear of being too preachy with that we sort of talked about it as just strong morals.
Now, Cameron, do you find it ironic that your character plays a religious virgin type guy and you're banging every loose girl on the set? Does that seem like a strange juxtaposition?
Well, it's not exactly the way that it is, but I mean, it's not. My responsibility as an actor is to deliver whatever lines the writers give me as naturally as possible and as honestly as possible.
All right, cut the crap.
And I'm certainly not as virtuous as Joe is, but at the same time, I think he's admirable.
Yeah, and there he is. He sets a nice message in a show mired in chaos and bizarre sexual ritual.
That's right.
You are a beacon of morality.
Well, Donald Martin's been a beacon for a lot longer than he has.
Now,
so.
I'll give you my personal take on that. I think that Pops, Aaron, is sort of projecting that onto his daughter. Am I right, Drew? Drew's doing a lot of nodding
choosing it
here.
for her.
Well, what I'm saying is he would like his daughter in real life.
Sure. I'd write that part for my daughter.
Right. You wouldn't have her, with her skirt pulled up over her head, prancing down the hall all day and banging everybody on the basketball team, right? Yeah. Okay.
I'd write the role that she has.
All right, we're going back to the phones. You're going to help us out, right, Cameron?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kelly.
Hello?
Kelly, you're on LoveLine.
Oh, hi, how you doing?
Good.
Okay, I have this question. I've been seeing this guy for a week, and I'm 18, he's 21, and I want him real bad, but I don't want him to think I'm a slut or nothing. So how long are you supposed to wait, to have sex?
I would say, how long does it take to get stuff in the mail? Like when you order something and they say 4 to 6 weeks?
Yeah.
Because that always sounded about right to me.
Yeah.
That's the way sex should be for guys. 4 to 6 weeks, because you know how it is. I ordered one of these change sorters the other day. It's like you put money in it and it turns around and whatever falls into whatever slot. I ordered this 2 days ago. I'm waiting by the door all day today, even though I know it's going to be at least another 5 weeks before the thing comes. I'm saying if women would do that to men, the 4 to 6 week UPS guy method,
right.
I think it would build anticipation.
Yeah.
Am I right, guys?
That's a pretty good analogy, don't you think, Dr. Drew?
I think building a relationship is better than filling out any paperwork before you send off. And I think you have to make that decision for yourself. I would hope that you'd be in some...
Okay, well, what if I, went ahead and did it? He probably wouldn't have any respect for me, right?
That's not necessarily true. I mean, it varies depending on the relationship, depending on the guy, depending on you. I mean, for some people, a week is plenty. And for some people, 8 weeks is not enough. But what I'm saying is it varies.
I think you ought to be skeptical in general. Protect yourself. Build the relationship. Don't be in any hurry. Take it easy.
And here's the deal. You couldn't screw up by waiting. Could you?
If you even give him a hint that you're going to get close to him, he'll keep coming back. Wouldn't you think?
Oh, yeah. Men are like sharks. They smell a little chum in the water there, and they start going into a frenzy.
I agree with
Cameron,
that.
you've been in a frenzy, haven't you?
Kelly, I think that that Dr. Drew's right. That if you hold out, it's not gonna do any damage at all. That
and you'll find out.
That was my idea, by the way.
Well, Adam was
fill out some paperwork and send away.
Yeah, that's right. You're like 4 to 6 weeks, and I would be waiting at the door too on the 6 weeks.
I'm just saying, have a credit card ready.
But you're also going to find out who is not worthy of having a relationship. You might feel entirely different about that person 3 weeks into it.
Yeah,
thank you.
I agree.
All right, Deanne.
Hi.
Is that your name?
Yeah.
Geez, I haven't really screwed up any names so far.
Oh, well, good for you.
Yeah, I always have to point out my own. I want people to give me kudos, so I bring it up.
It's 40 minutes into it, Adam. There's plenty more time.
God forbid anyone should do it on their own. Deanne.
Yeah.
What's your question?
In regards to the girl who was diagnosed with a cyst on her ovary.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I was diagnosed with polycystic ovary syndrome.
That's different, right? We talked about PCO or Stein-Leventhal syndrome.
Yeah, but see,
that's very different. She had a single simple cyst the size of a walnut. Stein-Leventhal is something different.
What's Deanne have?
She has polycystic ovarian disease, which is something totally different.
The way they found out is I had a cyst 8 pounds on my ovary.
Right.
Wait a minute.
Yeah,
Jeez.
I was carrying almost a full-grown baby.
8 pounds.
Yeah.
Hey, Drew, I've seen these things where these women, and albeit they're big women, but this one woman had a cyst removed. I don't know where it was from, and when you get really big, I don't even know if the doctors know where they're getting it from. But it weighed like 178 pounds
I had
something.
an ovarian cyst in a patient with a 75-pound ovarian cyst.
70?
We had to set up special things to pull it
That's
out.
where they get all those before and after pictures for those diet pills.
Oh, that's what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
They just have
find those
like
people.
cancer patients come in and remove tremendous cysts.
Those are different cysts. Those are not what Deanne's talking about here. She's talking about was it the ovary had gotten that big or a single cyst had?
The cyst had gotten that big and it wrapped
a-
itself around the ovary.
A single cyst, yeah. So did you have the whole ovary removed, or?
I had both of them removed.
Yeah.
Deanne, why did it take you so long to discover an 8-pound cyst?
I had gone to 6 different doctors.
Because a 16-year-old with painful, heavy periods is such a common thing.
No, I was 11. I hadn't even
11?
started my period yet.
But what about an 11-year-old with like essentially like like what would be akin to like a Nerf basketball in their underpants?
Diane, what you got to understand is that you're describing an extreme syndrome, a relatively unusual circumstance for a specific syndrome. When people talk about having ovarian cysts, they are not talking about what you had.
Yeah,
you
but
had
my
something
OB
very, very specific.
My OB said that if I would have gone, if they would have saw it earlier, they could have just removed that, and I would have been okay.
That's correct. But that's polycystic ovarian disease. It's an extreme condition, totally different circumstance than what our last caller had.
How crappy a doctor do you have to be not to pick up a cyst that big, though?
An 11-year-old? I don't take care of 11-year-olds. I can't imagine what
Well, let's
thinking
just
would
say
be.
when she was 11, it was like 5.5 pounds or something. I mean, wouldn't that be something that I think I could pick that up.
How
I'm
would you
not
do it?
even
How
a
would you
doctor.
do it?
I'd thump her like a cassava melon and pick up that kind of. Couldn't you pick that up, Cameron?
Well, I would, 8 pounds is 8 pounds, right? I mean,
Right. That's a prize cyst. Okay. I hate to compare cysts to gourds, but anyway, Justin.
Dr. Drew, Adam, and Cameron, hi.
hey,
Hi.
Justin.
My problem, actually my question is for Dr. Drew. I'm 26 and I'm gay, and I've been sexually active for 10 years, but I'm not attracted to gay men, and I haven't been sleeping with them. And all my friends, I'm at the age now where all my friends are in relationships and they're happy and they live together and have dinner parties and stuff. And they always try to introduce me to somebody, and they always introduce me to somebody that's gay, and I'm just not attracted. I don't want to be bothered. And I went out to a movie by myself and for a drink 2 days ago, and I went to a gay bar, and this guy tried to pick me up, and he was talking to me and touching my back while he was talking to me, and I thought I was going to throw up. I just said, "Don't touch me, leave me alone," and I left.
Correct me if I'm wrong here, Adam, but I hear two different issues. One is ambivalence, again, about his sexual identity, which is kind of unusual for a 25-year-old who's already established a particular orientation. And then, secondly, a real problem with intimacy.
Yeah, and I'll throw
It's
2 or
more
3
about-
more onto that heap that I can't even think of right now. Justin, you are what's known in the medical world is confused.
No, not at all.
What do you mean not at all? You're gay, but you don't like gay men?
I know what I like, and I get it. I have a perfect sex life. I sleep with men. I mean, I have a few that I sleep with on a regular basis.
but you can't.
How do you sleep with guys who aren't gay? What do you do? Just get them loaded and put a bra on or something?
Hardly.
But you can't be. You can't.
Don't do that to your listeners. There
Justin.
are a lot of women that don't know that guys, a lot of guys, more than people think, sleep with men, and they don't want it to be known, but they do it.
Wait, Justin, but don't confuse physical intimacy with emotional intimacy.
Exactly, and that's my problem.
That's what I'm saying.
I need it.
You need intimacy.
Yes.
But you're pushing it away all the time.
Exactly.
You need therapy is what you need. I mean, you sound really you do. I mean, it's not going to.
Sorry, Dr. Drew. I
You-
went to a therapist, and I ended up sleeping with him. Seriously. And
Well, no wonder you. I mean, you're confused. You've been violated many different ways. How can you possibly have trust and have an intimate relationship when you go to a professional and try to establish it, you get violated again?
And your therapist wasn't gay?
well, he's
That's the beauty of therapists, by the way. There's the policy. Bring them on. I'll screw anyone.
But Justin, this is
married. He was married, but
wow.
he's no longer married, and he's divorced.
And this is
now
he's
gay.
This is
now he's gay, and I see him sometimes, and he tries to talk to me, and I really don't want to talk.
But this kind of ambivalence and chaos and poor boundaries and all is sort of. Just correct me if I'm stepping out of bounds here, but it's what happens when people get sexually abused when they're younger. So is that your history?
Yes.
Yeah. And so,
Drew, you are batting 1,000 in the gay ballpark tonight, I must say.
And
smart man.
it takes a long time to reestablish intimacy when you've been violated like that. You need to go back. You need to carefully research a good therapist, find one, stick with them for years before you're going to be able to have a relationship with that person.
And how a therapist looks in a cardigan should not really be a factor when it comes to researching a therapist. Am I right, Drew?
You're right.
All right. So, in summary, he was screwed over. He was molested.
Yeah.
He's having ambivalent feelings now.
Right. And he can't have intimacy.
He can't have intimacy. And it works the same in heterosexual relationships.
Absolutely.
You get screwed over, you get molested, you can't have intimacy in a heterosexual relationship. Am I right, Cameron?
Absolutely.
Meanwhile, halfway across the city, in a small fish market in Chinatown.
Excuse me, could I get some fish?
In the meantime, LoveLine will be right back.
All right. I guess if you're going to point frantically, I can talk, Mike. Phone numbers 1-800-LOVE-191, 1-800-568-3191. Faxes coming our way at 310-854-4455. The name of the show is LoveLine. My name is Adam Carolla. His name is Dr. Drew. He's a board-certified physician. And his name is Cameron Bancroft, and you can see him on 90210. And let's talk to Cameron for just a moment here. Cameron, you had another series about a year and a half ago we were talking about.
Mm-hmm. Extreme.
Extreme.
Right.
Now, I was saying this before. I'm going to say it again. Every 2 or 3 years, Hollywood thinks it's a good idea to take a bunch of good-looking kids, put them in tight snowsuits, and send them up on a mountain somewhere. Not quite clear what goes on because they're not like they don't have official capacities, meaning they're not like rescue guys necessarily. They don't work. They don't work for the FBI. They don't work for the police station. They just kind of rappel down a lot of stuff, and they like race on snowmobiles and stuff like that. Am I right?
And get involved with one another. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And everyone's really good looking.
Well, thank you.
Because no great-looking girl knows CPR. I want to straighten Hollywood out right now. If you collapsed at a Hooters because you got like a chicken wing lodged in your wind tunnel or something, that would be it. You would die. They would have to find a fat, ugly guy to give you a Heimlich. Otherwise, you'd flail around like a carp.
Dr. Drew, can you speak up on this one?
I don't know that he's not right.
Thanks for that.
Drew, pigeonholing the good-looking women.
Geez.
So that lasted for like...
Didn't last a long time, no, and that was fun. I mean, we had a lot of fun, but it's real tough getting a new show off the ground, and I'm having a lot of fun on 90210.
And you do movies,
right?
As well. You do feature films,
right?
You were telling me about something called Sleeping Together.
Sleeping Together, which is a romantic comedy that I did finished actually right before I started 90210.
And that's where they pay you to have a threesome with a couple of ramp models.
Yeah, they did. Isn't it absolutely bizarre?
And everyone's now. I want to know because I've always wanted. Is everyone nude? Everyone like totally nude, or they have like socks and things?
I definitely had a sock. I called it a banana hammock.
Oh, you had but it wasn't like a Red Hot Chili Peppers type of tube sock thing, was it?
Wasn't much more than that. And but they were naked. Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah.
You get the sock, but they don't get a sock.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, I think that's just because men have more to control. It's like harder to keep it altogether in those kind of scenes.
I know what you're saying, but also there's a thing that goes on. Like, I've been to my share of bachelor parties.
Right.
And I know when there's a bunch of guys standing around smoking and the place smells like beer and you got some girl jumping on top of you, it doesn't always happen. You know what I mean? Because there's like some fat grip hanging around talking on a walkie-talkie. I mean, you can't concentrate. Am I right?
It's true. Yeah, it's true. But you know, there are like split seconds that go by, and that's really all it takes. And
you manage to stretch out on the hammock a little bit.
Well, I was trying not to. Believe me, I was really. I mean, it is hard because there are a lot of people around. I mean, there's people with lighting meters in front of your face, and but at the same time, you know, you're surrounded by two naked ladies, and you know, it takes some breathing.
And you're doing like all the stroking and all the grabbing. And I mean, did they tell you, look, no sucking here, but you can grab there? Was there rules?
Well, I mean, as far as working with actresses in that sense, you really have to kind of develop this sense of trust, and that, no, as an actor, you probably wouldn't want to do something that was going to make someone feel uncomfortable.
Right, unless it felt really good.
Well, and then you're looking at a lawsuit down the road, so...
So, and no dating them afterward or anything like that?
I kind of have like this code, and that is when I'm working with somebody, with somebody, you try, I mean, you don't develop a relationship with them in that sense, and with anybody that you're working with.
Oh, no, I know.
You just never know.
No, Drew and I made that mistake the first night I was here. We had a few beers after the show. One thing led to another. But... yeah. I think we got to. Sometimes he comes in with a puss on, and I'm wondering. But I think we have that straightened out, don't we, Drew?
It's a code.
Drew, you're looking like you want to read something.
You don't seem to be making eye contact with one another.
Well, we're very uncomfortable.
Okay.
You got to understand, Cameron.
Okay.
Drew,
he's still kind of mad at me.
Drew, you want to take a call and then?
No, because this is a lovely letter, actually. That not a pleasant letter, but a letter from a lovely girl that sort of addresses these abuse issues. We've been talking a lot about that tonight, and. This is a young lady named Heather from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, who is being abused by her alcoholic father, who's physically and mentally abusing both she and her mother. And she's cutting on herself, and she's been suicidal, and she's having all kinds of acting out behaviors that sometimes come out of that kind of a family system. And she's asking, what's wrong with me? Well, what's wrong with you is you live in a very abusive, destructive, unpleasant environment, and there are consequences to that. It sounds like she's had some psychiatric and psychological care. Go to that, stay with that, try to find constructive ways to deal with your feelings rather than just acting on them impulsively, and find ways to get out of the home and keep yourself protected away from your father.
Yeah, and people spend their entire childhood being molested by Fat Uncle Lou. They're being beaten by their drunken dad, being verbally abused by their abusive, drug-addicted mom, and then they turn 22 and they want to know what's wrong with them.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like it's like you're a car that has been left out in the rain, that never got a tune-up, that never changed the oil on it, and you want to know why it's not running so well.
Right, exactly.
You weren't taken care of.
Right.
Okay. Am I right, Cameron?
Well, yeah. I mean, just to add to that quickly is I think that, and a lot of people sort of realize that. They realize that they needed to get fixed, but they only fix one small part of that, and then realize that down the road something else breaks down, and they wonder why. They sort of have these continuing
it's
problems.
Also that people, they are so violated and so fearful and so distrusting, and the pain is so severe that to approach all that again and deal with it and work through it is horrifying. And so they avoid doing that any way they can.
I'm going to compromise and find an alcoholic husband
that I can fix.
That'll
to
beat
make me feel better.
and it'll all go away.
Yeah.
God bless him. Jennifer.
Good evening, guys. How you doing?
Good.
Okay, here's my question. Do men want a virtuous woman, or do men want a woman who's comfortable in her sexuality?
Yes.
Why are those different?
Well, because if you're comfortable in your sexuality, you can have sex with someone whenever you want.
But you can still be virtuous.
Well, when I say virtuous, I mean prudish. Someone who doesn't...
You mean low mileage?
Right.
Sexually.
Right.
Sexually.
Exactly.
Yeah, but being comfortable with one's sexuality doesn't mean you're acting out sexually all the time necessarily.
Well, maybe I was euphemizing a bit.
I get the feeling that you're very cozy with your sexuality, Jennifer.
I'm pretty comfortable with it.
Yes, you're like a worn-in Barca lounger, am I right?
No, I'm not. No. Actually, no.
How many partners you had?
15.
All right.
But I'm 30 years old, so.
Drew, what's that? Is that a lot? Drew gave like a papal hand wave there. I don't know what that was.
it's so funny how people draw their own conclusions about what is or is not virtuous. Well, you've got the conception in your own mind that you're having too much sex or not having too much sex, right?
Right.
I mean, your sense is that you've had a lot of sex.
No, I have not had a lot of sex.
Okay.
So you're the other side.
Right.
Here's what guys want. Cameron?
Okay. Boy. I'm one of those guys who is really sort of fearful to go into those waters of, how many partners have you had? Because that really doesn't necessarily make a difference to me one way or the other. Because I think you have to be mature enough to know that, that someone's going to have a past one way or the other. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
the fact is, though, if you have to hear about it, suddenly it does matter to you.
Well,
I'm not saying it's necessarily something you have to hear about.
That's right.
It's just that there exists this sort of double standard, and guys can
Well, listen, no, there are. I swear to you, and it matters to me, and I'll admit that. And I'm not proud of it. It's an insecurity. It's not that anything's wrong with the person. And if it's excessive, yeah. I mean, if you don't want your partner to be with 200 people before they got to you, because that smacks of something wrong emotionally.
Right.
And we don't want to give blanket statements here, but here goes my big comforter that I'm laying across the United States. If someone's been with 200 people, maybe something's up psychologically, more than just a sexual appetite.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that an alarm bell would go off in my head.
Mm-hmm.
But I've had my roommate, Ralph. Ralph, I would say to him, Ralph, you don't care? No. What if your girlfriend slept with your best friend? If she's faithful to me and we have a good relationship, then that's fine. And I could never figure out whether he was nuts or the most sane man on the planet. Most guys, it matters to a degree.
But who is going to tell you whether or not they had sex with 200 people? I mean, come on.
Oh, believe me.
Are they going to be telling you the truth? And do they actually tell you the truth about every little one-night stand if there was a possible,
So you're saying if it was 200,
are
probably
the numbers
400?
correct? Yeah, I mean, basically, it would upset me if I was going out with a girl and I talked to 3 or 4 guys that said, hey, you know what, I'm seeing Jane. And they said, yeah, you know what, I went out with Jane for a while. It was, it was pretty damn
right.
good.
You don't want any family members. You don't want your brother going out with them. You don't want your best buddies going out with them. After that, figure out if they're in their mid-20s or late 20s or whatever, they've had multiple partners, get over it. As long as they're true to you and they don't have any diseases they're passing on to you, then just enjoy them.
Yeah.
Okay, let's all be men about it. Molly.
Hi.
You're on LoveLine.
How are you guys?
We're good. I'm hot, actually.
And by the way, we avoided the whole double standard question, which is what her reason for calling was.
Oh, it
yeah.
was?
Sorry.
Yeah, how many partners?
Boy. Now, guys can have lots of partners, and it doesn't seem to be any big issue.
Right. Well, we're men.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Sorry.
Are you ready for my problem now?
Hit us.
Okay. I'm 20 years old. I'm fairly intelligent. I think I'm good looking. All my friends are guys, but none of them seem to be, I don't know, nothing ever happens. They just stay friends. I can't seem to get a boyfriend.
You can't get a boyfriend?
No, every guy that I meet, we just end up being friends. And
I think I may know.
You're fat. You're overweight.
Yeah. I think Drew may have hit on that. Drew,
why do you put those drops in? I'm gonna go take them off his board and burn them. I'm gonna do that.
And let me just say something, Mike. Mike, the engineer. I don't want to be insulting, but Mike, you got a little beer gut on you. Yeah, I wouldn't call you a fat guy, but you fill out a T-shirt pretty good. No need to do the fat sign, by the way. You could just stand up and grab your own gut. Oh, Mike just told me to F off. I think we got about 30 seconds. What's the question?
Why can't she find a boyfriend? She has lots of guy friends. Her friends have boyfriends. She has a bunch of guy friends, but no boyfriends.
Some people, and Cameron, you jump in anytime here. Okay. Some people don't have a lot of girlfriends. I never had a lot of girlfriends.
Did you have a lot of girlfriends?
I mean, no, girls. I never dated a lot of girls.
But did you have a lot of friends that were women?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so that's like Molly.
Right. Some people just go from one to the next, and some people maybe it's just because you're selective. It usually has
the only people who make moves on me are migrant farm workers and rednecks.
So why don't the guys that she wants?
You're saying they don't need love too? I'm just saying usually when you get something, it's what you wanted, even if you don't think it's what you wanted. When you don't have a boyfriend, it's because you didn't want a boyfriend on some level. If you really wanted a boyfriend, if every fiber in your body wanted a boyfriend, you would have a boyfriend.
I think that there's also, I mean, you may have to give them like a little bit of a signal, a little bit more of a flirtation than maybe than what you're doing.
Right.
I can't flirt.
You can't do that? Well, maybe that's a little bit of the problem.
We're not saying
very uncomfortable doing that.
We're not saying stop wearing panties.
Have you ever had a boyfriend?
Yes.
Okay.
I've had 2 or 3 real serious boyfriends
Good.
over the years.
All right.
Right now, nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So you're going through a little dry spell, but soon the glacier will melt, and it will be a flood of men.
LoveLine will be right back. And if you're not here, we'll hunt you down and shoot you in the head.
We're back. We got more LoveLine. We have more Cameron Bancroft, who's just been a pearl of a guest so far. Very nice gentleman. The number, 1-800-LOVE-191. The fax number, 310-854-4455. We got time to go to a quick call?
Do one real quick.
You want to do one?
Yeah.
One?
Yeah.
Lynn.
Hi.
Wow.
What's going on, Lynn?
Lynn.
Hi.
You're on LoveLine.
I was wondering, this is for the doctor.
Uh-huh.
I've had discharge since the 5th grade,
Uh-huh.
and I've recently turned 18, but I'm still a virgin.
Uh-huh.
I was wondering if I should go to a gynecologist.
Discharges are normal, okay? Some women have heavier, some people have very minimal discharge, but they are always normal. They tend to come around the time of your period, right?
I've had it every day.
Okay, but they still can be normal.
Wait, every day since the 5th grade?
Some
Every
people.
day.
So wait, a bloody discharge, brown discharge?
No, it's
okay.
just like either white or
Okay,
sometimes yellow.
that may be just you. There may be a little vaginal infection. It could be a yeast infection.
I'm guessing it is her.
It
That's
could just be
my
a
guess.
normal phenomenon for her. But at 18, I think even if you're not sexually active, it's a good idea to begin regular pelvic examinations. Young people, Americans don't realize this, but young females get cervical cancer and die. If you're sexually active, your risk of that is substantially higher. If you have herpes, if you have warts, again, the risk is elevated from those disorders. But get the screen done. Just have the pap smear done once a year, and that takes away the risk. It really does.
Wait a minute. You've never seen a gynecologist?
Oh, no.
She's 18.
I went like in 7th grade because my mom was concerned, and they diagnosed me with a yeast infection.
Right.
And I tried all the creams and all the antibiotics, but nothing worked.
Get it checked out again. It may just be a normal discharge for you.
We'll be back in 10.
This is LoveLine on
radio station.
We were kind of interrupted by the break there, but there are other bacterial causes of vaginal infection that actually can sort of come over from the other area there. There can be bacteria. Utah, right? And some women get recurrent infections from that area. Some women just have bacterial overgrowth in the area, and there's now some good creams to treat those kinds of infections too. So again, she needs to be cultured. Look at these things are usually very treatable.
What? No, you're saying you shouldn't go to the gynecologist?
She should.
All right. No, wait a minute now. Let me finish. Before you're 18, unless you have a real problem, or what?
I think at 18, definitely women should be getting yearly pap smears.
All right.
And that if somebody is sexually active, then whatever age they're becoming sexually active, that's the time to start.
That's when it. All right, and that's when you should start going.
Right.
Do they have gynecologists that just deal with younger people?
Yeah, they do, but there are other family practitioners, internists. There are adolescent medicine specialists out there that deal a lot with the gynecologic issues of adolescence.
And just from a protocol standpoint, you don't tip your gynecologist, do you? Like on the way out?
No.
Okay. All right, Drew, I'm going to let you pick the next call for that gross statement I just made.
Why we have trouble with the eye contact thing? By the end of the show, I'm not looking anywhere near the guy.
He's a bad tipper? Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
He's scared he's going to fall in love, and there are so many singles in his shorts that came from my hand, Cameron. It's not even funny. Bob.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, I work at a full-service gas station, you know?
Really?
Yeah.
Do those exist?
Yeah, what country are you in?
Well, no, I get, oil and grease on my hands a lot, you know?
Oh, okay.
And, I guess it's supposed to be pretty normal to masturbate, right?
I hope
Pretty
so.
normal, Bob. Yep.
Otherwise, I'm going to be putting a straight jacket and move to a padded room.
Well, sometimes during break, I'll like duck into the bathroom, you know.
Uh-huh.
And I've gotten kind of like a rash.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what to do.
Let me ask you something. You ever have yourself up on the hoist?
On the hoist? No, not.
So you're saying you have yourself in the bathroom, and I'll bet if the other guys you worked with knew about this, they would not be pleased. And you're saying you're using a lot of harsh chemicals and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And now there's a rash on the genitals, on the penis?
Yeah.
It's a chemical eruption, I'm sure. I mean, those chemicals are that area of skin is very delicate. You give something that's harsh, you're going to get a rash, a chemical reaction.
But let me get this straight: is it just a trace amount coming off your hand, or are you actually dipping it in 30 weight?
Well, no, it's from like the runoff from like the pumps and stuff, and then like changing oil and stuff.
Right.
I mean, that's hard. Those are harsh chemicals.
Yeah. Well, gas is a carcinogen. And I mean, and we were talking about this. Actually, we talk about this all the time. Cameron, you may not be aware of this. This is Cameron Bancroft from 90210, by the way.
I'm a pretty big fan. I listen regularly, so.
Thanks for the ass kissing.
Yeah.
The penis, and especially the testicles, are like a big sea sponge. I mean, they'll lop anything up. I mean, your hand has had so much crap put on it by the time...
Well, it's a different kind of skin, too, on the palm.
Oh, it is?
Oh, absolutely.
Wait a minute. It's not the same skin that you converted into this kind of skin?
No, it's different skin.
Really?
Yes. There's a thicker corneum layer on there.
I mean, like, I wash and stuff, you know.
If you have a rash on your palms, we have to give you a different kind of cream to penetrate this.
Right, but I thought what you're penetrating was the
No.
years
No,
of...
no.
No?
No.
No?
Look at monkeys. They have different their hands look different, don't they, than the rest of their skin?
I don't know. I'm so obsessed with them flinging their own feces that I never really get to the dermatology of the monkey, you know. But yeah, I guess you're right.
Well,
now, all right. So here's what's happening. What's not affecting your hands is affecting your penis. Your penis is absorbing it. You must wash yourself like a freaking surgeon.
But then the soaps might irritate it too.
Are you using that? Are you using that lava stuff or that pumice stuff?
It's like that pink stuff that's in the dispenser.
Right. The stuff gets all gummed up.
Idea.
What?
I have an idea.
Uh-oh.
Wear a latex glove.
When he masturbates or when he works on the car?
No, when he masturbates.
Well, then it's like whacking off with a condom on.
So? He won't get a rash on his penis.
But if he wore the glove when he was working on the car and then took the gloves off, he could have, skin to skin. He could really be intimate with himself.
Or just wear the gloves when you pump gas.
Well, I've like tried to stop and stuff, but it's really difficult.
All right, Bob, do you hear what we're telling you?
Yeah.
You've been sucking out of the varnish can for too long. Your brain has been affected.
And really, you need to see a dermatologist. Those rashes can be quite severe.
Yo, that's going to be a good one. How'd you get this? Whacking off at the self-serve pump, Doc?
People get all kinds of funny. They don't.
Well, it's going to be kind of like.
Hey, the message is: if you have a medical problem, see a doctor. Believe me, we've seen it before.
Bob.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a quick question.
Huh.
This pertains to the gas stuff, not to your masturbatory problems. How come the self-serve out here at least is like $1.10, $1.07, $1.15, and the full serve is like $1.78 a gallon? To me, what they're saying is just F you. We don't want to be bothered. Am I right?
That's right. I guess maybe that's why they have a lot of time on their hands, you know.
I live in Minnesota, so I mean, it's cold outside and people don't want to get out of their cars.
Oh, because out here it is like another 65 cents, 70 cents a gallon. And it would run you like an extra $15 if you filled up your car. Yeah. And to me, that just means don't bother me. I'm in here, I'm reading Guns and Ammo, I'm eating a free Snickers, F you, stay out there. Isn't that what it is? Because they wanted to make a profit. They do it like 25 cents, and then you toy with the notion and let them do it.
Well, I'm thinking about quitting anyway because I don't get tipped that much, and I don't make any more than the self-serve places, so...
All right, Bob, do that.
Quit?
Yes, and go to work for a rendering plant.
What's a rendering plant?
That's where they take like animal parts and boil them down and make glue and stuff. Lord knows what he'd get on his penis at that point. He'd get like some kind of hoof disease going on his schlong. Drew, you pick the next call. Yikes. Liz.
Hey.
Hey.
Hi.
Hey.
I have a
big, huge problem. Actually, I have two problems.
Yeah.
Okay, my first one is I've had a boyfriend for about a year and a half, and his name's Sam, and I hope he's listening. And about a month ago, he'd been cheating on me with, like, a couple of girls, and I was wondering if I should stick with him and, like, forgive him, or if I should just, like, dump his ass and get on with my life.
Dump. Cameron?
See you later, Sam. Hope you're listening.
So long, Sam.
It's very easy.
Well, a couple of girls.
Yeah.
That's not a relationship that's working. Forget it.
Yes. Find yourself a man that only cheats with one woman. You're better than that.
Okay.
Do you understand, Liz?
One woman. All right.
Yes. Well, that would be a step in the right direction. There's an eerie silence.
It's not
in
even
here.
worthy of a comment.
Thank you. Amy.
Hi.
Hey.
I have, like, a big problem.
Mm.
It all started about a year ago, and I, like, kind of called the radio station, and, oh, God, I hope he's not listening. But, and I started, like, talking to the DJ there. And I've been talking to him for about a year, and we're really, really good friends. But the problem is, I told him that I was 18.
Uh-huh.
And he's 19, and I told him the truth, and he doesn't care. But I kind of found out that he has, like, 10 years to live at the max, and I'm falling in love with this guy, and I really don't know what to do.
Well, how does he have 10 years to live? What's the deal?
Heart, too much stress on the heart.
How did you find this out?
What?
How did you find this out?
He told me.
No.
Well, wait a minute. If he's
No.
going to BS her, he'd say 10 minutes to live. How about a blowjob? I mean, I know the way guys work.
There's no such thing as too much stress on the heart. There's no such thing. Not for a 19-year-old. The only kind of stress they can deliver that's too much is IV cocaine. Okay?
Okay, anyways.
Well, wait a minute, Amy. This guy's 19. He's a DJ. He says he's going to die in 10 years. Maybe, well, she's probably misinterpreting his problem. He probably has, like, a bad valve or something.
Who knows? Okay.
All right, so let's just go along and say the guy's got some kind of heart problem.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
Is he a weird color?
I don't know. I've never seen him.
Because a lot of times when people have heart problems, they turn weird colors, right, Drew?
Kind of sallow appearing, yeah.
Is he putting pressure on you in some way or
No.
something? Or?
No.
All right, so what do you need?
I need to know, should I try to ruin the friendship by telling him that I really like him, and try to meet him, or what should I do?
Keep it a friendship at a distance.
Really?
Absolutely.
Oh.
Yeah, you're too young. And this guy sounds like, he's throwing caution in the wind. He doesn't have too much time on the planet.
Well, not even that. I've been around radio and how people interact with their listeners and stuff. And,
okay.
No, and these disc jockeys will sometimes strike up friendships with some of their listeners, and the listeners get the wrong idea, and they maintain the friendship because they're already involved in a friendship-type relationship with them. But believe me, a 19-year-old, fortunately, he's not going to jeopardize his position there. He's not going to break the law. He's going to remain a friend, and that's what he should remain.
All righty then. Robert.
Yeah.
Hey, you're on LoveLine with Cameron Bancroft.
Yeah.
Hey, Robert.
I got a good question here.
All right.
Now, let's say there's a gal, okay, who's breastfeeding,
Mm-hmm.
and she took a pregnancy test. Would it affect her pregnancy test?
Not that I'm aware of. Why? What's up?
Oh, I'm just kind of curious.
It can affect her ability to become pregnant.
No, the pregnancy test itself.
Breastfeeding, though, is a marginally effective form of contraception.
That's kind of a nice little built-in nature
Yeah,
thing.
that's right. So you can't have too many babies in a row.
God is good that way. It's kind of like, you can't get the keys out of your car if the thing's still in drive. You know what I mean? It's a nice little extra.
It's a built-in.
It's a built-in. No charge.
So would it affect it, though?
Not that I'm aware of.
Not to be aware of.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
What's going on with you, Robert?
Pardon?
What is going on with you and your girl who is breastfeeding?
I pleaded the fifth.
What?
Pleads the fifth, he said.
Yeah, he doesn't want to get too specific.
Good night.
Okay, Robert. Thanks for being a jackass. Heather.
Hi, you guys. What's up?
Good. Nothing. Fine. Thank you.
I just had a comment for your last caller, Bob, or not the last caller, but a few callers ago.
The gas station attendant?
Yeah, if
Uh-huh.
he works on cars and he changes the motor oil
he should know that the used motor oil is cancerous, and he probably shouldn't put that on his penis. Even if he washes his hands, it's still cancerous. It's probably not a good idea.
Let me tell you something about guys, especially guys that work at gas stations, especially guys in their mid-20s. If you told a guy, you masturbate in the next hour, and there's a 65% chance you'll have a massive stroke, you know what their answer would be? 65 an hour. Still a good 35% chance I'm going to make it. Then again, I could wait another 58 minutes. Guys don't care about cancer at 25. Guys care about masturbating on the job. Cameron, seriously, I'll admit it. I have peeled a few off on the job site in my day.
But were your hands clean, at least?
Yeah, I mean, I was a carpenter, so I may have had like some subfloor adhesive or some tree sap or something on there, which did kind of add to the whole mix, I got to tell you. But Cameron, let's say you're doing the threesome scene, you're wearing the banana sock on the schlong there, and now people say let's hour and a half break for lunch, and everyone else heads out for craft service, and you say, I'm going to be in my dressing room for just a couple of minutes.
I got some phone calls to make.
Yeah.
No. I mean, it's borrowed wardrobe.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
right.
so you gotta be thinking.
They check that stuff with a black light at the end.
Exactly. You definitely don't want the banana hammock at some museum, Planet Hollywood, 10 years down the road if things go well.
You don't want the hammock wrangler to have to fight it off to get it back into the trailer because it's clung to their leg. Some scene from Aliens.
Nice.
Heather?
So if I meet someone, I should probably wash their penis before I, do anything with them?
I would say it's a good idea. And
either that or just ask, what's your occupation?
How about putting a condom on it?
There you go.
Oh, that's something
right,
novel,
Dr.
too.
Drew. Beautiful.
And let me just say this again. I've been saying it once a week. I'd like the message to get out to the kids especially. I talc up before I leave the house, and I think women appreciate that. Cameron, you ever do that?
Makes the room a bit smoky, though, but you got to cut down on the talc a little bit.
Well, I'm not saying you put it on some hopper and dump it on yourself.
It looks like San Francisco in here.
You just, the fog's rolled into the bathroom. No, you see what I'm doing here where I hold the pants open a little and I just dump. Imagine a thing of baby powder in this hand. Right. And you just dump a little in there.
Adam, that turned your whole damn life around. You found out about that about 2 months ago, and you've talked about nothing else since.
I didn't even know about that. I thought the body lotion was just fine.
No. Let me tell you, heat builds up down there. Little things. You'd be amazed what will cling to your nuts, by the way, over the course of the day. I'll come back, there'll be like a barnacle, a beer tab. I'm like, how the hell did that get there? Some sawdust. It's like a big magnet, your nuts. And I'm saying if you take the talc and you talc up before you leave the house, then you're fresh. And if you're not with anyone, then you're just fresh for yourself. And what is so wrong with being good to yourself?
Nothing. That's I'm going to have to try that.
Talc up. See if you can work it into an episode. Do you have much leeway?
I didn't know you could get so excited and poetic about anything.
Exactly.
I really can. It's the beauty of me.
The talking episode on a very special 90210.
All right. We're going back to the reason this show was famous or is famous. Mike.
Yes.
You're on LoveLine.
All righty.
Mike, do you talc up?
Well, actually, that little subject there relates to my question.
Go ahead.
A little bit. I have a problem, Dr. Drew.
Yes, sir.
There is, whenever I wear a condom, if I use it semi-regularly, I develop, inflammation, redness.
So you're allergic to latex, huh?
Is it just the latex, or do you think it's more like the spermicide? Because sometimes I wear the ones with spermicide, and...
Well, you're not really contacting the spermicide, though, are you?
Oh, no?
Well, it's on the outside. I hope you don't...
Well, I mean, I guess some would get on it, wouldn't it? Or
I'm sure a little bit, but you're talking about the entire length of the penis. You get a rash,
more or less. Yeah.
Mike, are you one of these guys that I don't like wearing jeans because I don't like those big flappy white things that people call pockets swinging around all the time on the outside of my pants?
Oh yeah, that's it.
Mike, you got to make sure it's on the right way. And another thing, inflammation of the penis, not necessarily a bad thing.
Oh, it was for me.
How is it a good thing?
It was a horror movie.
I had a big scare one
Did ya?
time. Oh yeah, I had that same thing, Mike, and it is an allergic reaction.
Yeah.
And I think that you certainly have to try a different brand, but yeah, it's kind of freaky.
Well, you can try a different brand, but probably you'll have to use animal skin. And you got to realize those are not a good barrier against the viruses. I would just have a lingering concern that it would be some kind of a herpetic outbreak, because almost anything that irritates your skin can cause a herpes outbreak to develop.
Oh,
if you have the virus.
Are there some condoms that just have like a fragrance, like a perfume in them?
I'm sure. I don't know
could
that
cause a reaction like that.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Because I can still use latex, and
just certain brands you can't use.
I didn't have to
Dr.
find
Drew.
the animals.
How do you convince a woman when they ask, "Well, are you going to wear a condom?" And you say, "I'm allergic to latex."
And
they're like, "No, you're just trying to get out of it."
You get the animal skin condom.
You got to fake a sneeze when you say that, too, by the way.
Okay, we'll do that.
All righty, Mike. Hey, is it the skin that they make the condoms out of? I thought it was like the gut or part of the intestines or something like when you. Oh well, this is a good analogy. You ever see sausage?
Right.
It's packed in that casing.
I'm getting grossed out here.
But what I'm saying is it's like a thin, durable film,
right.
And that's kind of what it is. So it's not like the hide.
I don't know.
It's not like a seat cover.
I don't know. It's not. No, it's not. No. Seat cover.
There are so many on the market, though. I mean, you have such a wide array to choose from.
But they all come from a sheep, right? It's not like we don't make any out of
lambskins. Yeah, I guess sheep, lamb. Yeah.
We don't make any out of ferrets or badgers or anything.
I
like
use
that.
Nikes. No,
I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
I still think we ought to make a trip to a pharmacy and pull out all the different, kits for.
There's some.
Only
actually,
if we can hold hands.
No.
I have to say, this is something that I'm, very curious about. And now, there's all kinds of magazine articles and stuff where you can actually get some information about different condoms, and they talk about how they're made. And
the Consumer Report does reviews on
that. Absolutely. It's definitely not a bad idea to go and find out which ones you think would work best for you, and what would be, especially if you have allergies.
How would you like to volunteer for that patrol, though, on the Consumer Report? Because you've seen what they do. Like when they test a toaster oven, they'll drop an anvil on it or something and see if it still works.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, Cameron?
I absolutely do.
Are you going to stay with us?
I'm leaving.
No.
No, of course I'm
Lock the
staying. I'm
door.
having a great time.
All
I'm
right.
having a great time.
We'll be back with more Drew and more Cameron after this.
LoveLine will be right back.
Go ahead.
Oh, OJ, I'm a big fan of yours.
Okay.
Followed your career for years. I loved watching you slam dunk that basketball.
He played football, not basketball.
No, he didn't. He played basketball for Philadelphia.
That was Dr. J. This is OJ.
OJ? I don't know who the hell that is.
All right, get on.
Oh, that was professional. All right, we have to credit KKBT for that little drop. I guess OJ was on the radio this morning. I think the man is going insane. It's getting to be like that Edgar Allan Poe poem, The Telltale Heart,
right?
Where he killed somebody,
right?
Lord knows I'm no poet scholar here, but basically the story goes like this: the guy kills somebody, he buries them under the house under the floorboards, and then he hears
the heartbeat.
The heartbeat, boom, 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 much like that, and it starts driving him nuts. And I can't remember how it ended because I got the Cliff Notes and I think I spilt the beer on the last 6 pages. But the point is his own guilt is what.
Was it Nathaniel Hawthorne or Edgar Allan Poe?
I think it's Edgar Allan Poe. Okay. Don't smarts with me here, Drew. Cameron Bancroft from 90210.
Hi.
You know who was it? Was it Edgar Allan Poe?
Nathaniel Hawthorne.
No, Telltale Heart.
I'm going with Daniel Hawthorne for 200, please.
No, just because he's wearing glasses and has an IQ rating of
Come on.
35 more than I do. No.
The money is on Dr. Drew, I got to tell you.
It really is the smart money is, but I am the dark horse, baby. And I got to tell you.
Nevermore.
Nevermore. And speaking of the dark horse, that was OJ, by the way, who is going insane slowly, who's now saying that the whole murder thing is now a botched hit attempt by some kind of Colombian drug lords on Faye Resnick.
Wow.
And here's my one quick question for that, by the way. If they did botch that up, I'm sure word has gotten around to the point, even as far away as Colombia, that maybe that wasn't Faye who they hit.
Right.
So they've had, what, a year and a half to go hit Faye Resnick?
Right.
Why don't they hit her?
Right.
If they wanted to kill her that badly, why isn't she dead yet? And what did she do? A little coke on the weekends off some fat producer's chest or something like that? I mean, come on. That's the biggest line of crap I've ever heard. It's just played on a paranoid America who doesn't know the difference between smuggling 40 kilos in up your ass through the border every week and doing a couple lines on the weekend. Am I right, Drew?
Actually, you're right.
I am?
Yeah.
I don't know what to do now. I guess I got to leave. All right. Cameron?
Yes.
You want to talk about anything?
Well, I'm just enjoying being here, really.
God bless you. Everybody should show up with your attitude. You're a wonderful human. Things are going great on the show.
Things are going great. I'm having a blast, yeah. Although Joe's having some heart problems right now on the show, so that heartbeat was sort of scaring me.
You're... now, it should be scaring your agent, actually.
That's right.
I mean, because when they start laying out you're having some medical problems, that means you could be cut.
Well, yeah. I mean, your guess is as good as mine, and we don't know that far in advance what the storylines are. And but I really sort of thought it was going to be a nice way to sort of show a different side of Joe and how he deals with these problems, and when he's faced with something like this, how he's going to overcome it.
Now, is it one of these things where football season is going on 12 months out of the year? I mean, you walking around with a jersey and a jacket and the whole 9 yards every day of the year?
Actually, I really wanted to make sure that Joe didn't come across as just a jock, like that stereotypical jock. So he rarely is seen with his football jersey, and there isn't actually too much dialogue about football.
But you did have Steve Young on the show.
Yeah, we did.
And he came on and he did what? One of those crappy cameo things?
Well, actually, he was better than I thought he would be. He actually wasn't too bad at all. But, the interesting thing about Steve Young is that he hasn't done a lot of acting. And, he kind of came over to me and told me how nervous he was about doing these few lines. And it just struck me, here's a guy who's been on the field in front of, we're talking millions of people who watch the Super Bowl, who's making the plays and, doing all that stuff. And here he's nervous about saying a couple lines on a television show, which you would think is no big deal in that man's eyes.
Right. But he's out of his element, and that always works that way. And speaking of cameos and acting, don't you think maybe you could pull a couple of strings and get me some kind of walk-on role there?
Absolutely.
I'd play like a guy who's
down on his luck.
Harry Boy, we call him, or
maybe
something.
one of the girls accidentally walks in on you in the bathroom or something like that. It's like, oh, sorry.
This week on a very special 90210.
The girls have got a stalker locked in the bathroom.
He's decided to stay there. As a matter of fact, he put a chair up against the inside of the door, and he's now masturbating well into the next episode.
That's right. It'll be a two-parter, and then the next time they go to the gas station, they see you working there.
I think I could do it. Let me just give you a little taste of my acting.
Please do.
And this is the serious stuff. Mm-hmm. This is not a comedic acting thing. Okay. This would be more for daytime soap or maybe a nighttime soap, essentially.
All right.
Like 90210.
Okay.
You'll be Chad.
All right.
Okay, we'll just call you Chad. Let me find my implicit cue. Hold on. Oh, Drew was sitting on it. Okay, hold on. There it is. Now it's warm and it smells. Okay, you ready? Chad, when you're this way, man, it's like I don't even know you. Well, that was it. I didn't have a whole... I
was really
you were there?
watching your expression after the delivery, which was very honest, and I think that here's a little bit more ass kissing. If Nicolas Cage gets nominated for an Oscar, it's a sham.
Right.
It's an absolute sham because Adam Carolla just blew the socks off of his performance.
Right, that crappy Leaving Las Vegas. This was, right. I should get some sort of golden something just for the effort I just put out. Is that what you're saying?
Go out in the hall here and let me talk to our listeners, please.
Joan.
Joanna.
See? I knew I'd screw one up. You're on LoveLine.
Thanks. Okay, I'm 17 years old, and
I'm a virgin, which is good for me.
That's the sound of my penis smacking against the inside of my leg.
Did you mention this, by the way?
Oh, I'm sorry, Joanna. Hold on one second. You know, Heidi Fleiss is coming on tomorrow night.
Oh.
So that should be very interesting.
She's a virgin, too, isn't she?
Solve my problem.
She's a version of a virgin, actually. Not quite the same.
Sorry, Joanna.
Go ahead.
Well, when I was 14 years old, I met a man, and I kind of, I guess, fell in love with him, and nothing ever happened with him. He was a perfect gentleman, which is good, because I was 14, and I've known him for, I guess, 3 years now, and we always kind of joke about, hey, call me when you're 18.
How old is he?
Right now, he's 24.
Mm-hmm.
Which is good.
Yeah. I say that to my girlfriend, too. Call me when you're 18, and she goes, I'm 27. I go, yeah, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, I mean, he never tried anything. He was very good, and we talked. We had real human conversations. And, well, next year I'm 18, and I'm kind of planning to go visit him.
On like a sex pilgrimage?
I guess you could call it that.
Now, how old is this guy?
24.
Oh, I'm sorry. And so he was 21 when you met, and you were 14.
Right. And, I mean, I've never kissed him. We were on, like, a bus tour kind of thing across the country, which is a whole other deal.
You guys with the Up With People singers?
Grateful Dead?
It was kind of in a big old marching band that toured the country.
Oh, okay, and he was like the director, or he played the tuba, or what?
He was a director. He was a cymbal instructor.
Well, wait a minute. How tough could that be? Look, when I point, you guys smack your hands together. Oh, and make sure and hold those big floppy trash can lids. What? I would love that job. You're going on tour with a bunch of young chicks, and you're the cymbal instructor.
That's exactly how it works, too.
Do they have an instructor for every instrument?
The triangle?
Yeah. You play the triangle. We have a team who works with the one kid who plays the triangle.
And that would be a 4-year degree.
Then there's the tambourine department. We can't even get... That's a whole separate bus. It's a semi.
I'm the one who runs around on a field spinning a big stick, so I'm not going to say anything bad.
Ah, you are the majorette.
Yeah, I'm one of the...
Oh, I love that. She's spinning with the boots and the big furry hat and the high knees and the short skirts. All right, so let me give my take, and guys, you jump in and correct me anytime you want.
Okay.
There's kind of a catch-22 here, because on one hand, the guy's a perfect gentleman.
Right.
The guy did not feel you up. He did not try to get you drunk. He didn't corner you.
Exactly.
He didn't come at you with one of the kettle drum sticks or something like that loaded one night when you guys were staying in some hi-ho motel in Baker. But on the other hand, he's sitting around kind of waiting on you like you're some sort of batch of beer waiting to get a good head on you. Or on him, as it were. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That smacks of something a little bit up with this guy.
That and the fact that I think you're going to find more feelings generated from this encounter than you anticipated. You already admit to yourself that you had very heavy feelings for him. When you have physical intimacy, that and more is going to be rekindled. And it's going to be tough.
Let me say this. A woman's vagina is not a T-bill. It is not a Fannie Mae. It is not something you wait to mature. Well, actually, I guess you could, but you don't sit around and watch it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Cameron?
Well, I was thinking that, I don't know if this is right or not, but it seems like, I'm not sure if it's the same for guys and girls, but it seems that they sometimes build crushes on teachers or people,
Sure.
In colleges or high schools or whatever, and that maybe that's sort of, you respect this guy a lot because he is an instructor, and maybe that's one of the reasons why you feel something for him. And maybe it's not really a sexual thing or something that you want to develop a relationship. It's just more an enjoyment of...
But, Cameron, do you agree that something is up for this guy sort of sitting around and biding his time?
Yeah, it seems a bit weird, and yeah.
Well, I'll tell you about a conversation we had.
Very quick.
We were riding from Sacramento home on the bus together, and he drove me home, and we talked about a relationship. And he said, look, you're 14, and I'm
21.
And... you know that it wouldn't work out because I'm not ready. I don't want to, you're 14.
And right now my mistress are symbols.
Well, that's not his real job. He's going to be an astrophysicist, so he's got some brains on him.
Me too, by the way. And Cameron was saying he's going to be one soon, too.
Right.
Next week.
All right, listen. Joanne.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're obsessed with this guy. I know you've been holding out, and you've just been staring at his picture for the last 3 or 4 years, but realize that's what you've been doing. There are plenty of guys out there. Something sounds like this guy has a crack in his bell, and I would steer clear of him.
LoveLine. Look deep into this jingle. You are getting sleepy. Sleepy. LoveLine will be right back. You will listen. You will listen.
We're back on the show they call LoveLine with Dr. Drew and me, Adam Carolla, and he, Cameron Bancroft, who's been just an angel tonight, on his best behavior.
Well, thank you very much, and I have to say that you guys must be pretty excited that Heidi Fleiss is coming in tomorrow night. But could you maybe get me some of those phone numbers from the people that call in, because they're probably a lot of her friends. And
you're not on that list. You're not in that.
We'll find out, Adam. Don't worry, we'll find out.
Exactly.
Have you ever, it's a late night show, so we can ask these questions. You ever solicited a hooker?
Never.
Never. Drew?
Mm-mm.
No?
There were times, though. I do have a Heidi Fleiss story, per se.
No, wait a minute, Cameron. Adam's kind of surprised as though there's something wrong with that.
And I'm from Vancouver, where it's, a lot of that stuff.
We've never solicited a hooker.
Mm-hmm.
No, I've never solicited a hooker myself.
Oh, yeah.
No, I haven't.
Oh, yeah.
No,
yeah.
No, please, Drew.
Your eye is twitching.
That's not the half of it, actually. And you're raising your hand like a school kid that's got to use the head.
Have you ever paid for sex at all?
Well, ultimately, yes. I mean, in the
I'm
form
talking
of
with
dinner.
cash. I'm talking cash.
You mean like
not a date, not a movie.
But
not
that would be prostitution. He said.
I mean,
no.
it could be, Adam. It could be like a girl says, will you buy me a drink? And the drink costs $150, and that would mean that it was really for more than just.
Oh, yeah, I bought someone like a $300 daiquiri once,
Yeah.
and I guess that counts.
Yeah.
But it was a guy. No, I haven't. I do draw the line. Well, I don't know. My line is like the freaking Richter scale. It is all over the place because on one hand, I love to watch stuff. I love to get those bikini open things on the pay-per-view. I love to get the Playboy videos and the porno movies and all that. That kind of stuff's fun to me. I like to watch that stuff. Never done phone sex. Not interested. That somehow I need a visual, not into the prostitution stuff. Never wanted to pay for it. Never did the computer thing, although I attribute that to my inability to type more than my lack of libido. But I want to see somebody. You know what I mean? Cameron?
You want to see somebody.
Thank you. Drew, what call do you want? I love that. Mindy.
Hi.
Hey.
How you doing?
Good.
Good. So, you want to hear it?
Yeah, we're ready.
Okay. I'm 23, and I have this boyfriend. He's really cool. I didn't want to screw anything up with him, so I feel free to volunteer information, about my past relationships and whatnot. I have to admit, I'm a lot more voyeuristic than he ever was. He's kind of like from the Cleavers. But, I don't know, I told him about some bisexual experiences, and now it seems he holds it against me. I don't know.
We were talking about this earlier this evening, really.
Right.
Yeah, and he was sitting there listening to it, and I don't know. He'll joke around about it, and then I'll tell him, I'll talk about my past, oh yeah, I remember one time when I was hanging around with my girlfriend, he'd be like, well, did you kiss her? And I'm like, and I told him everything there was to say, but he still brings it up, and he still, and he'll joke around about it and stuff, and
probably not a joke to him.
No.
Right.
No, here's the mistake that a lot of women make, and again, it is not the woman's fault, but a lot of women think, I'm going to titillate this guy, I'm going to get him excited, and I'm going to tell him about a couple of fun experiences I had, once in camp, once on a ski vacation, once with a guy who was with the Serendipity Singers on the bus and the whole 9 yards. And it does titillate the guy that night. But then the next morning he wakes up and he looks at you and the phone rings and it's one of your girlfriends on the other line and he goes, what are you doing with her? And it has a sort of a backlash kind of thing. It comes back and bites you in the ass, like almost all information that's divulged in a relationship, by the way. From now on, just either nod or shake your head no.
People say I don't want to lie to him. I don't want to, you know. I mean, I told him, I was like, you can ask me any question you want, and I'll feel free to volunteer it. But I just, you know, I mean, but
right.
It's just like I said, in past relationships, none of my boyfriends have ever known anything about this, and this is the first time I've actually, said, hey, okay, I've,
I'll tell you,
women, and
I'll tell you what a woman could do, what all women should do in this. And I'll tell you, I've been on the other end of this, and I would appreciate being straightened out once in a while, because here's what happens. The relationship, starts to mature. You get a month or two into it. You find that you like each other. All of a sudden, some, yearbook opens up and some picture slides out, or a few beers have been tossed back and a little information comes out, or phone rings and what have you, and something comes out.
Right.
And they find out, yeah, you had a lesbian experience once, maybe twice, whatever. Yeah, you had sex on a roller coaster with this guy. Yeah, you had an abortion. Yeah, you gave up a kid to adoption or whatever. Things come out.
Right.
And the guys hold it against you. And what happens is you get on the ropes. And the guy brings it up and he's sort of half kidding, but he means it, and you get defensive. The women get defensive, and they say stuff like, well, I was drunk. You got to understand I was really drunk. Or, hey, I was really young. You got to understand I was young and I was drunk, and I'm not going to do it again. And here's what I suggest you women do, because I think men will respond to this. I think you say, hey, fat ass, even if the guy doesn't have a fat ass. That's the beauty of the term fat ass, by the way. You can use it for... Heidi Slice comes in tomorrow night, first thing, hey, fat ass, sit down. The point is you just say, hey, fat ass, I am a mature human being who's comfortable with my body and who has had some experiences before I met you. Now, I'm not going to let you stigmatize me for that. Grow up. Mature. This is not my problem. This is your problem. Yes, if I had AIDS, you could say something. Yes, if I had 6 kids running around. Yes, if there was a whole section devoted to me in the porn part of the video store, yes, you could say something. But for having some experiences, for exploring a little bit, for doing what everybody does between the ages of, 16 and 22, screw you. This is your problem. You get over it. I'm faithful to you. I want a relationship with you, and I hope you're mature enough to hear it.
Mahalo.
If I don't get laid after that frickin' diatribe, I don't know what's going to do it. Cameron?
You're going to get a call from Tracy Lords, though. I mean, she's saying...
Cameron dropped his pants halfway.
Yeah.
Brittany.
Hi.
Hi, Brittany.
Brittany, hold on one second. It is 180 degrees in here. It's either the frickin' tundra of Alaska or we're in the frickin' Serengeti with empty Boda bags. Why is this?
I don't know.
Somebody make it 70. Not enough talc, Mike says. The talc is now turned into paste. Do you understand? I'm going to make a decoupage. And it's not going to smell good either. Brittany.
Yes.
You're on LoveLine, yeah.
Hi, how are you guys doing?
Good.
It is an oven in here. Go ahead, Brittany. What's up?
I had a few questions for you, Dr. Drew. First of all, my boyfriend and I are both in the education field, and we're both in science, and different sources have listed anthrax as, some say it's a virus, some say it's a bacteria.
Others call it a cool band.
It's a anthrax.
Yeah, others call it a cool band.
It's a bacillus, as I understand it. It's a bacteria.
Really? Because in the Hot Zone, if you've read that, he mentions it listed as a virus, and in the textbook it listed as a virus.
Well, look, we don't have. I'm in Southern California. We don't have anthrax, or at least I've never seen it.
We don't.
And it's as I understand, it's on farms and grain.
We got to get us some anthrax.
We
feel deprived.
Am I right? It's like the dust of grains and barns. Isn't that where it comes from?
I'm not sure, but I know it affects animals.
It causes a pulmonary infection, and I just don't see it in this part of the country.
Okay.
I'm calling back to my second-year medical school experience, and my recollection was it was under the bacilli. So
okay. my main question is, well, two things. There was a woman that called last week, I believe it was, who said that she had lost interest in sex after pregnancy.
Right.
Remember this?
Real common.
Yeah, and, the same thing happened to me. I have a 9-month-old, and for the longest time, and
Some gynecologists will just put you on the pill after that, and that sort of kickstarts things again.
well, I was breastfeeding. I didn't want to have the hormone influence on my baby.
Mm-hmm.
So I waited. I just actually went on the mini pill about a month ago.
Wait, what's the mini pill?
Low
It's
overall?
all progesterone.
Yeah, low overall.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
It has no estrogen, and because estrogen causes a lot of bad side effects for me, like headaches and stuff. And so for the longest time, I wasn't interested. But the poor woman, someone should tell her. I mean, you just had a baby, You
know what? My wife actually criticized me about that call. I think it was that call, and I can't really remember what the circumstances were, but we were. You know what it was? Here's what it was about that call, is that she did not say that she lost her libido. She said she lost it just and only for her husband.
Oh.
And that's why we ended up focusing on their relationship. And my wife criticized me too. I said, look, it had nothing to do with her libido. She was talking about wanting to go out with other guys.
Oh, okay.
I lost my libido once, but I found it in the dryer like 3 days later.
Did it have talc on it?
It had the snuggle bear was dry humping it, actually. It was a little beat up, but it was still intact.
Well, at least you found it, Adam.
Yes, I'm trying to get
so lucky.
trying to get it surgically implanted again, but I can't find a good facility for that. Drew?
Drew might be able to help you.
What?
Oh, shut up.
What?
All right, Brittany, anything else?
Well, yeah, about the pill.
Yeah?
I was always under the assumption that it tricked your body into thinking you were pregnant. Is that how it works?
Sort of.
Okay, because should you have some kind of the similar side effects as being pregnant when you're on the pill?
Sometimes, sort of.
Okay, because I just started, like I said, I've been on it for this is about my 4th week. And I was having, like, cramping and, like, kind of weird feeling. But,
and what's the question?
well, is that normal?
Yeah, I'm sure. But you're also on the progesterone pill, too, so it can cause all sorts of side effects.
Pills.
You're probably going to get irregular bleeding, that's what I bet.
Let me tell you about the pill very quickly. Pill works. You don't get pregnant, and your boobs get bigger. From that standpoint, it's the wonder drug of the 20th century. But for some women, they start growing a mustache, they break out, and they come right for their man after that because it's your fault they're having to take the pill. So the pill is a double-edged sword. Am I right, Cameron?
Yes, you are.
Call LoveLine at 1-800-LOVE-191. LoveLine. We'll be right back.
Normally, I would give the LoveLine phone number out at this point, but I'm not going to do it because we're no longer accepting calls for tonight. Although I will do it because people are going to want to call tomorrow night because they certainly aren't going to want to miss tomorrow night's show because we have the one and only Heidi Fleiss.
Talk to her while you can. She's going to jail, right?
No kidding. No, I'm baking a cake with a hacksaw on it as we speak. 1-800-LOVE-191, or you can fax us at 310-854-4455.
Or email LUV191 at America Online, or write us letters. P.O. Box 4345, Hollywood, California, 90078.
And all this month, February's Inmate Week. Inmate month, actually. We would like to get mails from
we will,
mail
whether
from
you like it or not, we will.
People who are incarcerated. We do get a lot of that, and they're good letters, and I like that. And
It's little crumpled looking, but
well, they have to they don't have a lot of paper, and they have to use it where they can. Cameron Bancroft is a voice that's distracting me to my right. That would be to your left if you're facing the radio. To my left, that'd be to your right if you're facing the radio, is none other than Dr. Drew. We had a fun time tonight.
Certainly did, yeah. Thanks for having me, you guys.
You are welcome on
Enjoyed
anytime,
myself.
even when you get huge and we have to beg you, when we have to send over a couple fluff girls and a pound of cocaine just to get you on for 10 minutes, we still will do it because you're such a fantastic guest.
Well, thank you.
And we can find Cameron on 90210. which
That's
is
right.
on at 8 o'clock on the Fox network at, was it Tuesdays?
Wednesdays.
Wednesdays, I
Dun,
mean.
dun,
Yeah.
dun.
No, I do like the show, and you are Tori's beau.
That's right.
You have some problems with your heart, so we'll
Have
see if
some
we
problems
can
with the ticker.
work that out.
Yep.
And you have any movies or anything coming up you want to plug?
Nothing really. No, there'll be a film coming out in the spring, but I just don't know exactly when it's going to be released yet. But it will be out. Romantic comedy, Sleeping Together.
Is it true that you're starring in a blue movie called Banana Hammock?
We're actually now filming Banana Hammock 2. The first one was such a big success.
I'm sure it wasn't that big, Cameron.
No.
I think we made the same joke twice there, by the way, which is
Yeah.
okay at this hour because I know it's late and a lot of the listeners are starting to nod off, especially after hearing me drone on for the last 2 hours.
Yes.
But there are people we'd like to thank because we don't do this show alone. We would like to thank Roy Clark and his pickin' buddies for playing the banjo in the background. When we thank Lori, the beautiful phone screener. When we thank Sherry, the beautiful phone screener. When we thank Scott, the semi-attractive male who's back in the K-Rock studios pulling it all together. When we thank Ann, the lovely, vivacious producer. What's your take on Ann physically, real quick?
Very attractive lady.
Yes,
Yeah.
very attractive. And speaking of attractive women, we would like to thank Engineer Mike for doing a superb job. Until tomorrow, I am Adam Carolla.
I am Dr. Drew.
That is Cameron Bancroft. Don't miss Heidi Fleiss, and we'll see you tomorrow.
So that's it then.
The opinions expressed on Loveline by Adam Carolla, Dr. Drew, or anyone are not necessarily ours. Be happy. Be happy. Happy, happy, happy. Loveline's producer is Ann Wilkins. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.